Hey everyone, it's Kelly here. Welcome to my channel if you are a first timer. Welcome back if you've been before. Lovely to have you either way. On this channel we talk books, and today I am bringing you a book haul. Now I know if you have been following along at home, I've already done a book haul for the month of April because I gave you a holiday haul. So while I'm on holidays I like to go exploring in mostly secondhand bookshops in the area where I'm staying and see what I can find, because there's some really great secondhand bookshops on the south coast of New South Wales where I often like to go on holidays. So I'm not going to show you any of those books. Those are the ones that I got on my holidays, but I have also been acquiring a bunch of other stuff. So the piles are roughly equal size between new and secondhand. So yeah. We've got quite a few classics in this haul as new copies, and then some really interesting random stuff that I've found secondhand. So let's get straight into it. I'm going to start with a non-fiction book because, as far as I can tell, at least in the new section, this is the only non-fiction text that I have picked up, and that is What White People Can Do Next, From Allyship to Coalition by Emma Dabiri. So this is quite a short little thing, and it says, stop the denial, stop the false equivalencies, interrogate whiteness, interrogate capitalism, denounce the white saviour, abandon guilt. We need to talk about racial injustice in a different way, one that builds on the revolutionary ideas of the past and forges new connections. In this incisive, radical and practical essay, Emma Dabiri, acclaimed author of Don't Touch My Hair, draws on years of research and personal experience to challenge us to create meaningful, lasting change. So I'm looking forward to reading this one at some point and becoming a better ally, I hope, from learning some things from this book. Next book that I'm going to show you is one that I'm very excited about because if you have been following along my reading journey for some time, you will know that I am absolutely in love with the Tea Dragon series, and I have been waiting for a paperback version of the third book in the trilogy, the Tea Dragon Tapestry, to be released, and it's here. So this is the Tea Dragon Tapestry, the third installment of the Tea Dragon series. Both of the other books I have given 5 stars to, so I am very hopeful about this one. I'm probably going to read it very soon, I think, but I might reread the other two because they're quite short. They don't take too long to read, and then move on to the third one. So I'm really, really excited about it. If you've not come across this series before, this is a very wholesome series that is has some good representation of disability, of queer relationships, but in a really, it's all very wholesome and heartwarming in a way that isn't sentimental. It's just really sweet and real. So I really love it. It's very cozy if you're into that genre, and I always highly recommend this series. I can't specifically recommend this one because I haven't read it yet, but the other two definitely. So yeah, very, very excited to now have that in my collection. The next one is one I picked up that I'm not sure I'm going to like, but it was longlisted for the Stella Prize, so I decided, this book came on sale and I just decided to pick up a copy because I do want to read through the whole of the Stella long list. I don't know if I'm going to do it. I'm definitely going to give myself permission to DNF. I've already DNF'd one, which was in the shortlist because it was not for me, but and I spoke more about that in my video where I was, it was a vlog on my holiday, because that was where I tried it out and realised it was not for me. So I may end up DNFing this one and just getting rid of this book, but it was on sale, it was a good price, so I picked it up. And that is West Girls by Laura Elizabeth Woollett. This one is about, well, let me just read from the back for you. It says, I chose the jagged rocks, the broken bones, the spattered brains. I chose beauty. I'd choose it again. Luna Lewis is white, but her friends aren't, nor are her brothers, nor her one-time Princess of Indonesia finalist stepmother. After transforming from pudgy preteen to exotic beauty, Luna reinvents herself as Luna Lu and takes her ticket out of the most isolated city on Earth. However, as her international modelling career approaches its expiry date, Luna must grapple with what she's sacrificed and who she's become in her mission to conquer the world. Featuring an intersecting cast of glamour-hungry public school girls, wags, mining heiresses, backpacker barmaids, and cosmetic nurses, West Girls examines beauty, race, class divisions, and social mobility in Australia's richest state. It's also a devastating catalogue of the myriad inventive ways in which women love and hurt one another. So I've heard mixed reviews about this one, so I don't know if I'm going to like it or not, but we'll give it a go and see what we think. Okay, the next one is actually one that I heard about. It's a very recent release. I heard about it and it sounded really interesting to me, so I decided to pick it up. And that is Thunderhead by Miranda Darling. So this is an Australian writer, and I'm going to tell you about the book now. It's a black comedy set in suburbia about one woman's struggle to be free. When Winona Dalloway begins her day, in the peaceful early hours before her children, that tiny tornado of little hands and feet, wake up, she doesn't know that by the end of it, everything in her world will have changed. On the outside... Hi. Did you want to be in the video today? Now's not the time, my friend. Now is not the time. I know. Would you like to head off and do something else? She's been very clingy lately and has been wanting to, when I'm home, sleep like on me, like on my shoulder or on my chest. So I think that's what she wants to do right now, but it's not the right time. I'm filming a video. I'm sorry to say. Would you like to go somewhere else, or would you like to stay there? Alright, she can stay there for now, but I suspect she's going to want to either try it again or head off, so we'll see what we do. Anyway, on the outside, Winona is a seemingly unremarkable young mother, unobtrusive, quietly going about her tasks, but within is a vivid, chaotic self teeming with voices, a mind both wild and precise, and meanwhile, a storm is brewing, ... So this just sounded really interesting, and yeah, I thought I'd give it a try. It's also very short. So yeah, I suspect I'm going to read this one pretty soon. Okay, next we are up to some classics, and this will be the last 4 books for my new section of this haul. I won't speak too much about these because, again, they are classics, but yeah, just excited to have them in my collection. So I've picked up this one, which is Anne Sexton's Mercies, Selected Poems. So Anne Sexton is a poet that I'd heard about and was interested in, so I thought I'd pick up her collection and to dip into at some point. It says, when Anne Sexton took her own life in 1974, she left behind a body of work which, in less than 2 decades of writing, had already won her the Pulitzer Prize for Poetry and established her place among the foremost voices of the age. Her work broke multiple taboos of subject matter, from insanity and addiction to menstruation, adultery, and the figure of the witch. Mercies gathers a resonant new selection from the work of this poet, who helped to redefine what could be written, and who, for generations of readers and artists since... Oh my. You're done. No, you're not done. She's gonna attempt to come back, but we'll see. Anyway, where was I? Mercies gathers a resonant new selection from the work of this poet, who helped to redefine what could be written, and who, for generations of readers and artists since, has remained an exemplar of openness, originality, and passion. So this just sounds fascinating to me. I'm interested to read some of this poetry and sort of let it sit with me and see how I feel about it. So that's added to the collection now. Another one to add to the collection, very, very tiny, is an essay by Hannah Arendt. It's called On Violence, and this is a very interesting cover, which is definitely what attracted me to it. I should say these 2 I picked up because they were also on sale, so that was part of the reason I picked them up now. So it says, violence can destroy power. It is utterly incapable of creating it. Why has violence played such a significant role in human history. Written in 1970 with the Holocaust and Hiroshima still fresh in recent memory, war in Vietnam raging, and the streets of Europe and America exploding into student protest, Hannah Arendt's seminal work dissects violence in the 20th century, its nature and its causes, its relationship with politics and war, its role in the modern age. Arendt warns against the glamorization of violence by revolutionary causes and argues that true lasting power can never grow out of the barrel of a gun. Incisive, deeply probing, written with clarity and grace, it provides an ideal framework for understanding the turbulence of our times. So, sounded really interesting, so I picked it up, and at some point we will get to reading that essay as well. So this is a classic that I had heard a lot about and was really interested in. It was sort of a bit random because it's John Steinbeck, but he had written about King Arthur. So it's the acts of King Arthur and his noble knights. And when I heard about this, I was like, wow, that's because I know John Steinbeck's a great writer. I've read Of Mice and Men and, you know, was in awe of his writing talent in that book and how, you know, how his writing really resonates and connects. So hearing that he wrote about King Arthur was very interesting to me because I am quite interested in the Knights of the Round Table, etc., etc. So, yeah, when I found this copy, because previously this was really hard to get, and I found this really cool copy of it. I guess they've reissued it in the Penguin Classics Deluxe edition. So it's the one with the deckled edges and French flaps. So yeah, very excited to now have this in my collection and to read it at some point. So we all know who King Arthur is and what it's about. But yeah, it's the interest of this book is literally that it's written by John Steinbeck. So I'm keen to get to this at some point soon. And the last of the new books, the last classic, is the very cool copy of The Master and Margarita by Mikhail Bulgakov. I already have a copy of this. I ordered it secondhand thinking that I was getting this version, and I got another one, which I was not happy about, but yeah, I now own this one. So this is, again, I think the Penguin Classics Deluxe edition, again with the deckled edges, again with the French flaps. So I'm happy now to have this in my collection, and at some point to read it, because this is absolutely beautiful. I think we can agree. I think the best cover of this book that I've ever seen. Okay, so those were the new books. Let me just do a quick shuffle. And let's talk about the secondhand books now. So I picked up, most of the secondhand books that I've picked up this month, I've already shown you in my other video. However, on my way home from my trip away, which I filmed that video while I was still away, I stopped in at another secondhand shop and picked up a couple of books. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that I'm going to show you today. And then right at the end of the month, I went to the library to return some books and pick up some others, and they were having a book sale, and I picked up 2 books, which I will also tell you about at the end. So let's first of all talk about these ones. So this is from the Salvation Army store, I think it's a Salvos, yeah. The Salvos in Nowra, which was on my way home to Sydney from the south coast. So this first one that I picked up is 2 Caravans by Marina Lewycka, I think it is. And she is the author of A Short History of Tractors in Ukrainian, which I'm going to be reading really soon for my Round the World book club. That is the book that we have selected for Ukraine. This is another book by that same author. So it says, an idyll of the English countryside, a beautiful summer's evening in a Kent field, and around their 2 caravans, a little group of strawberry pickers is getting ready to celebrate a birthday. But who picks our strawberries these days? The Ukrainians. Irina, just off the coach from Kiev, and eager to improve her excellent English and find true love with a romantic Englishman. Andrei, the miner's son from the other Ukraine. The Poles, Bob Dylan fan, Tomas, whose smelly trainers will soon punish those in the men's caravan. So, Yola, the petite voluptuous gang mistress, and her religious niece Marta, who finds the wild mushrooms to cook with the sliced loaf. Then there is Vitaly, king of the new mobile phone mobile phone world of the shiny new Eastern Europe. 2 Chinese girls, Emmanuel, the round-eyed 18-year-old from Malawi, come to England to look for his sister, and although he can't exactly help pick strawberries, there is also the dog. But these are a group leading dangerous lives. Exploitative employers, British regulations, and gangmasters with guns will all threaten their existence as they take to the caravan road until each of them peels off to find their destiny. So this sounds really interesting. This definitely was an author by, not that I've read the other, but I've heard really good things about it. So hopefully this one will be equally good. This is a book I picked up because my husband really loves this book. It's called The Surgeon of Crowthorne, A Tale of Murder, Madness, and the Love of Words by Simon Winchester. Again, this is also a book that surrounds the making of the Oxford English Dictionary, which I've read a book about, and I have a non-fiction book to read, The Dictionary People, that's also about that same topic. So it's just a really interesting topic that has obviously provided a lot of food for thought for authors creating their own works. So it says, the making of the Oxford English Dictionary was a monumental 50-year task requiring the assistance of thousands of volunteers. One of the keenest was a certain W.C. Minor, who astonished and dismayed everyone by declining ever to come to Oxford to receive his congratulations, until, reputedly, his refusals eventually prompted the dictionary's editor James Morrie to travel down to Crowthorne in Berkshire to meet him. What he found was utterly shocking. Minor was a millionaire American Civil War surgeon turned lunatic, imprisoned in Broadmoor Asylum for murder, who had dedicated his entire cell-bound life to work on the English language. Simon Winchester tracks down this uplifting tale of tragedy, genius, and passion in all its bizarre and fascinating detail. The Surgeon of Crowthorne is one of the great untold stories of literature. So I'm looking forward to getting to that one and reading more about this fascinating character. Xanthi, you need to... No more. Right, that's it. You are banished. Okay, back to business. Okay, the next book on my stack is Tuesdays with Morrie by Mitch Albom, maybe. This book seemed to follow me on this trip, so I found so many copies of it, and eventually I found this paperback and decided to pick it up because it was only a couple of dollars. The last class of my old professor's life took place once a week in his house, by a window in the study, where he could watch a small hibiscus plant shed its pink leaves. The class met on Tuesdays. It began after breakfast. The subject was the meaning of life. It was taught from experience. Maybe it was a grandparent, a teacher, or a colleague, someone older, patient and wise, who understood you when you were young and impassioned, helped you to see the world as a more profound place, and gave you sound advice to guide your way through it. For Mitch Albom, it was Morrie Schwartz, the college professor who taught him nearly 20 years ago. Perhaps, like Mitch, you lost track of this mentor as the years passed, the insights faded, and the world seemed colder. Wouldn't you like to see that person again, to ask the bigger questions that still haunt you, and receive wisdom for your busy life the way you once did when you were younger? Mitch Albom got that second chance, rediscovering Morrie in the last months of the older man's life. Their rekindled relationship turned into one final class, lessons in how to live. Tuesdays with Morrie is a magical chronicle of their time together. So yeah, that sounds amazing. And I know the title, so I know this book has been around and probably lots of people have read it, but I never have. So we'll change that at some point. The next one that I found was, I think, a good find, and that is The Housekeeper and the Professor by Yoko Ogawa. Again, I got this for a couple of dollars, so I was very excited to find this copy. It says, he is a brilliant maths professor who lives with only 80 minutes of short-term memory. She is a sensitive and astute young housekeeper who is entrusted to take care of him. Each morning, as the professor and the housekeeper are reintroduced to one another, a strange, beautiful relationship blossoms between them. The professor may not remember what he had for breakfast, but his mind is still alive with elegant equations from the past. He devises clever maths riddles, based on her shoe size or her birthday, and the numbers reveal a sheltering and poetic world to both the housekeeper and her 10-year-old son. With each new equation, the three lost souls forge an affection more mysterious than imaginary numbers and a bond that runs deeper than memory. So this was all over the place a few years ago. When was this published, actually? Let's see. I feel like it was relatively recently. No, it was not. It came out in 2000. The English translation came out in 2008. So this has been around for a while now. But yeah, I have not read it before, and I am interested to read it, so I'm glad I now have a copy of it. So the last of the books from that Naura Salvos was a good find as well, The Colour Purple by Alice Walker. So this is the winner of the 1983 Pulitzer Prize for Fiction, and was turned into a Spielberg movie back in the day. The back of it says, "Dear God, I am 14 years old. I have always been a good girl. Maybe you can give me a sign letting me know what is happening to me." So begins Alice Walker's touching, complex and engrossing novel set in the harsh segregated world of the Deep South between the wars. Celie has been raped by the man she calls father. Her 2 children are taken away from her. She has been forced into an ugly marriage. She has no one to talk to but God. Then she meets Shug Avery, the singer, the magic woman, and discovers not the pain of rivalry, but the love and support of women. So yeah, very glad to have found a copy of that one. And then at the library book sale, where I picked up the last 2 books, the first one was The Library of Ice, Readings from a Cold Climate by Nancy Campbell. I feel like we might have talked about this book last year when I was recording my series on the Dewey Decimal System. So this one is in, I want to say, maybe 900s, I think. They've kind of scratched through the number on the side. Anyway, I'll see if I can find that information, and I will put it up on the screen if so. But anyway, this book is, it says, tracks on the ice are considered a better way of telling hunting stories than any words. Even their disappearance is part of the story, an indication of the time passing, as the hunter and hunted move on. When the last of the ice has melted, the records of the past will be the least of our concerns. So it says, a vivid and perceptive book combining memoir, scientific and cultural history with a bewitching account of landscape and place. So yeah, this just sounds really interesting because the author, Nancy Campbell, is a poet and writer. So I'm expecting that this book is going to have some really poetic writing in it about ice. Readings from the Cold Climate. Very interesting. And the last book for this book haul is this one by Tessa Hadley, Married Love. It says, Lottie announces at the breakfast table that she is getting married, the youngest daughter of a large and close-knit family. Lottie is 19 but looks 5 years younger. Her fiancé is Edgar Lennox, a composer of religious music and lecturer at Lottie's University, 45 years her senior. We follow as Lottie's life unfolds, her marriage to Edgar, the tiny flat they share, the children that follow. It is a story of romantic dreams and daily reality, family loyalties tested but holding, and the comedy and solace to be found in small moments. Evoking a world that expands beyond the pages, it marks the beginning of what is an astonishing new collection. On full display in these stories are the qualities Tessa Hadley has been praised for often before. Her unflinching examination of family relationships, her humour, warmth and psychological acuity, her powerful and precise prose. In this collection there are domestic dramas, generational sagas, wrenching love affairs and epiphanies captured and distilled to remarkable effect. Married Love is a collection to treasure, a masterful new work from one of the most accomplished storytellers of today. So yeah. That's this one. Married Love by Tessa Hadley. And that is the end of the book haul. So thank you very much for watching. Let me know down in the comments if you've read any of these books and you think I should prioritize them on my TBR. I'm always keen to chat with people down in the comments, so please do chat with me down there. And I will catch you on the next video. Bye.